Welcome back to another episode of In the End There's Always a Disney Guy. Before we get into today's episode, make sure you go to disneyguy.com and subscribe to my blog and all my other socials that's on the site. So today we're going to be talking about a numerous of things. We're going to be getting into the topic of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. As you guys know, the show has ended. The season has ended. The show has ended. Episode 6 is aired. And it's basically the episode of the Falcon coming to terms with who he really is and with the role he plays now. As you guys know, in Avengers, or actually this whole series has been dedicated, not all, but partially been dedicated to whether if the Falcon is going to learn to accept the responsibility that Steve Rogers gave him, which was to be Captain America. And this season was kind of him exploring, like, to see if he really was able or if he was fit to, carry the shield. That's what the episode has mainly been about, I would say. Another thing the show has definitely, discovered was with, the whole Winter Soldiers with the serum that's creating these Winter Soldiers. Also, which is discovered with the whole serums that's allowing these people to gain superhero, Winter Soldier, abilities, super strength, and all of that stuff. And then also with the Falcon finding out that there was a black, super Winter Soldier. That was another thing that happened. Basically, this show dives really deep into basically with everything that's happening just between the main characters of the Winter Soldier and the Falcon. Like I said, the main plot of the story was basically Falcon accepting who he really is, which was, being the new Captain America. He didn't know how to accept the responsibility because in his mind there was only one Captain America, which technically there was. It was Steve Rogers. But when Steve Rogers chose to go through time and spend the rest of his life with Peggy and give the soldier down to the Falcon, I mean, yeah. In a way, you would think that he would have gave the shield to the Winter Soldier because they were friends longer. But, I mean, I could understand why he didn't. Mainly because of, everybody knows that, the Winter Soldiers have some issues. He has little issues, so I get why he didn't give him the whole, the shield. But as far as for like with the Falcon and him and his new look now, he looks really good. I'm not gonna lie. His suit looks awesome. The wings, amazing. The shield looks really cool. So they did a good job with all of that. I would definitely say. And then let's discuss WandaVision. So there's some things that I've noticed that I haven't really noticed before. In WandaVision, there were some things that I quite didn't notice that I started to notice. Well, one, when I told you guys about the barrier, you guys remember when people outside of the Westview anomaly were trying to see what was going on, so they kept sending things like drones inside, and when I forgot his name, but when the captain or the director who sent in the drone caused Wanda to come out of the anomaly portal. And she straight up told him, she said, I got what I want. I don't want anything else. Which was their original plan was for her to have a home and a family. Because if you remember in episode 8, Vision planned out a spot that they would live their lives with each other. All the way until they're like old, where it said on the map, grow old in. So that was the whole point of the Westview anomaly. It was for her to get what she wanted, and that was to be with Vision and have a family. Um, there was another thing I noticed that when after she came out and she was preparing to enter back in, she put a force field around the portal, and that's why it turned red when she put that force field, so that way no objects could go in or come out. Um, so that's why, like, when you remember when in episode 7 when they tried to throw this car, tried to drive the car inside the portal, That's why the portal was that's why the car was getting sucked in like it was, because it was preparing, it was trying to rewrite the car, but because it didn't fit the format, it literally it ejected the car right out of the portal. Now I don't know how Captain Rambo was able to get into the portal. I'm finna search it up. How was Captain Rambo? Okay, so we know that Captain Rainbow, it says Monica was introduced as the second Captain Marvel. She gained her powers after being bombarded by extra dimensional energy produced by by energy. Okay, that's weird because it seemed like she got her powers from the portal of Westview. But what I will say is, how did Captain Rambo get her powers in WandaVision? Okay, let me see. Let me say some of this. How okay. What I will say is, how did Captain Rambo get inside the hex? How did Okay, so it's not really giving me much information. Get inside of Westview. Of Westview. It's not really giving me much information on it, but most likely she got her powers from the portal. If you remember when Captain Rambo was entering inside the Westview anomaly, as she was entering in, there were three parts of her that was going inside. There was the version of her, the 60s version of her, then there was the captain version of her, and then there was just her. It was three of her. And as she was entering in, because one thing I can say about Wanda's anomaly is that it's powerful. And when you go inside that portal, you have to be able to absorb the energy to be able to cross to the other side of that portal. So that's one thing I can say about Wanda. When she created it, she definitely created it on a very powerful level. Now the reason why you have to absorb a sort of energy is because as you enter the portal, the because the portal is a reality, it's literally rewriting you and rewriting everything about you to fit the anomaly. So because the anomaly is set into a sitcom version, it has to change you literally, like Darcy said, every time you go inside the hex, because she's going inside that portal and it's absorbing her and rewriting her every time she's entering in, it's changing her on a molecular level. So that's why that's the reason why Wanda got her powers, because if you remember when she went through the portal and you saw all her three selves split into each other, and then that's when the portal started opening up to the other side of the anomaly, and she looked around in her eyes, that was because of the energy she absorbed. Like Darcy said, it was changing her. But instead of her being rewritten the second time when she went inside, or the third time when she went inside, instead of her being rewritten, because her body is used to this, to absorbing that energy, it didn't rewrite her, since her powers came from the portal. That's why when she went in the third time, instead of her, you remember the clothing that she wore in the 70s episode? She had a specific set of clothing when she was playing Geraldine. But when she went in the second time, the third time, when she crossed the other side, she still had her uniform on. So that's why it looks so, like, that's why she's gained her powers. Because anyone who normally enters, or if someone is entered inside, if she's expanding the portal, it rewrites them to fit the reality. So I know it's probably a lot to understand, but yeah, they were definitely smart, which obviously will lead up to the events of Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. Now, most likely, my biggest theory is that with the multiverse, everybody knows that the multiverse is basically it's a universe where there's multiple universes, meaning there's multiple realities, there's multiple earths, there's multiple everything, but it's alternate, so it's the opposite of our universe. So I'm guessing that there's going to be some sort of rift in time or a rift in the flow of reality, like what I forgot in Avengers Endgame. I forgot the name of that the sorcerer, the bald headed lady. I forgot her name, but she mentioned that like when one stone is taken, a dark something is opened. I forgot what it is. A dark path or a dark reality is open, which causes many other things to be infected. So I'm guessing something with reality is going to mess with Earth in some shape or form, because I have a big feeling that not only can Wanda manipulate reality, but she can manipulate time. I don't know if you remember, y'all, but if y'all watched episode 6, when Wanda sat there and stopped everybody from moving inside the anomaly, and she expanded right before she expanded the portal, and when she said no and the television said rewinded, or when there was a glitch in episode 3, when Vision was feeling that something was wrong, that little glitch that stopped and it went all the way back to where we began. So I have a big feeling that not only can Wanda manipulate reality and create reality, but she can also manipulate time and probably go through time, because I did some research, and it said that Wanda can go through time itself. She can manipulate time itself. But I guess we'll find out. I know Doctor Strange is gonna play a huge role in this. I already have a big feeling about that. But thank you for listening in to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe and follow this podcast on both Google and Spotify. And yeah, make sure you go subscribe to my DisneyGod.com blog. And I hope you guys enjoy. And remember, I'm trying to get this show on Prime Video and it's already on IMBD, but I'm already getting it up on Prime Video, and we'll be up and going. So thank you for listening in, and bye-bye, y'all.